This video contains sequences with flashing lights that may trigger seizures for people with photosensitive epilepsy. Viewer discretion is advised. If you are sensitive to flashing lights, please be cautious while watching this video. The sun had sunk beneath the horizon, casting the waters in shades of twilight blue. The ocean was calm, the rhythmic lull of the waves playing a haunting melody. A crew of seasoned sailors navigated their ship, the Siren's Call, through the night, guided by a map that spoke of a hidden cove rumored to be a paradise untouched by time. As the ship neared the fabled shores, a storm brewed on the horizon. The sailors braced themselves for a rough night, the wind howling like a tormented soul. The storm intensified, and the crew found themselves at the mercy of the sea's wrath. Lightning slashed through the sky, revealing jagged rocks that lurked beneath the surface like the teeth of some ancient beast. Desperate to escape the tempest's fury, the Siren's Call was pushed off course, carried by currents beyond their control. As dawn broke, the crew's exhausted eyes scanned the horizon, landing on a stretch of land they had not anticipated, a deserted island, cloaked in mist and surrounded by treacherous reefs. With their ship battered and leaking, the sailors begrudgingly took refuge on the island. As they explored, they discovered the ruins of a lighthouse that seemed to have been abandoned for centuries. The walls were encrusted with salt and decay, its windows shattered, and the light that had once guided ships to safety was long extinguished. Despite the disrepair, there was an eerie allure to the lighthouse. A powerful magnetism seemed to draw the sailors closer, as if an unseen force tugged at their very souls. The wind carried whispers of the lighthouse's history, tales of a keeper who had been driven to madness, of ships guided into the rocks rather than away from danger. As night fell once again, the crew huddled around a campfire, the stories of the lighthouse fueling both fascination and unease. But it wasn't until the moon reached its zenith that they understood the true horror that awaited them. A faint glow emerged from the decrepit lighthouse, casting long shadows that danced across the island. Transfixed, the sailors watched as the light grew brighter, its ethereal radiance illuminating the waves that crashed against the cliffs. Mesmerized, they didn't notice the fog that began to creep, tendrils of mist that curled around their feet like icy fingers. The lighthouse's glow grew more intense, its beam cutting through the darkness with an otherworldly brilliance. It was then that the first sailor screamed. His eyes had locked onto the phantom ship that materialized in the water, sails billowing though no wind stirred. The spectral vessel was illuminated by the lighthouse's eerie glow, a haunting sight that sent shivers through the crew. With each sweep of the lighthouse's light, the sailors saw more ships wrecked and broken, their skeletal frames testament to the deadly siren call of the Phantom Lighthouse. The crew's fear turned to panic as the realization set in they were not the first to fall victim to this cursed place. Desperation fueled their attempts to escape. They raced toward their ship, only to find it ensnared by the reefs, held fast by unseen hands. The waves seemed to rise in fury, their towering forms concealing monstrous shapes beneath. The sailors were surrounded by a swirling maelstrom of horror, trapped between the Phantom Lighthouse's hypnotic glow and the watery abyss. In their final moments, as the ship was mercilessly drawn closer to the craggy rocks, the sailors' frantic eyes widened with horrified realization. What had initially seemed like a salvation had transformed into a malevolent curse. The lighthouse, once a symbol of guidance, had been twisted into a conduit of death and despair. Its light, once a hopeful beacon, was now an instrument of destruction, luring vessels and souls alike into a watery abyss. As the ship's hull collided with the jagged rocks, a bone-chilling cacophony erupted. The vessel groaned and splintered, its timbers shattering under the force of impact. The sailors' terrified screams melded with the symphony of chaos, a symphony that seemed to resonate with the very heartbeat of the Phantom Lighthouse. The waves surged forward, hungrily claiming the doomed ship and its crew as their own. Amidst the chaos, a haunting symphony of sounds emerged. The mournful wail of the Phantom Lighthouse pierced the night, its keening echoing through the crashing waves. It was as if the lighthouse itself mourned the lives it had claimed, its ghostly lament a testament to the horrors that had transpired within its spectral glow. The sailors fought valiantly against the merciless sea, but the currents were unrelenting, dragging them down into the frigid depths. The water, once a symbol of life and sustenance, now became a suffocating embrace, swallowing their cries and their souls alike. The crew's bodies were tossed like rag dolls, ensnared in the crushing embrace of the ocean's fury. And as the ship splintered further, a ghostly figure emerged from the tumultuous waters, the spectral keeper of the lighthouse, his lantern still held aloft. His eyes glowed with an unnatural light, fixated on the chaos he had orchestrated. With a mournful gaze that seemed to hold both regret and malevolence, he watched as the ship and its crew were consumed by the depths, their fates forever intertwined with the cursed legacy of the Phantom Lighthouse. As the tempest slowly subsided, the sea returned to its deceptive calmness. The ship's remnants and the sailors' memories sank beneath the waves, becoming one with the dark waters. The island remained silent, shrouded in mist, its secrets preserved by the unforgiving sea. The Phantom Lighthouse stood as a haunting sentinel, its glow dimmed, yet its malevolent presence forever etched into the fabric of the ocean's depths. And so, the legend of the Phantom Lighthouse endured, a whispered tale among sailors who dared to traverse those treacherous waters. The phantom light that once beckoned with false promises had been revealed for what it truly was, a harbinger of doom, an ancient curse that called out to the lost and the damned, forever ensnaring them within its spectral grasp.